Hello, and thank you for tuning in. It's your boy Dre. My bad. I forgot to hit the go live button, and I've been going in for like a good 20 minutes strong. Um, but I guess I'll try to recapture a little bit. Um, so I came across a video recently from some YouTubers by the name of Waving a Red Flag. They did a video a couple months back about parenting. And the premise of the video was it's we should encourage our kids to disrespect us. And they talked about a lot of things in that video, but that parenting and respect piece was one that really stuck out to me. And I believe in part because I like to think of myself as being a person of order, as being a person that is very respectful. Um, and also being a parent, and from my experiences and experiences of my peers and family members, um because at least from, I might be wrong, but it's from the way that those four individuals were speaking, it didn't sound like they had children. It didn't sound like any of them had children. um the one piece that I did agree with on them, what they said, which is like 10% of what they said, was like, parents need to have some degree of patience, which I very much agree with it. And the best parents, in my opinion, we do have patience. It's not, they made it sound like almost a childhood version of Misters coming to knock a kid's head off, and that we're perpetuating slavery and different things against our children, which, as somebody who does believe in corporal punishment and has used corporal punishment, that is not the case at all. That is not the case at all. Um, for one, I know my child. I'm a fairly, I like to think that I'm a decently intelligent individual, and he inherited a lot of my uh, proclivities, a lot of my tendencies. I see a lot of myself in him. And honestly, I really feel like I know exactly what he's thinking sometimes, because he says a lot of the things that I thought so I was like a kid that age. Um, but in terms of disrespecting an adult, one, no, it's not disrespect for a child to ask an adult a question, but how a child interacts with an adult, how a child interacts with an authority figure can be, if you do not teach it. And this is the biggest part of it is they, at least the guy that was speaking seemed to have this premise, and I hope I'm not trying to misconstrue anything that they're saying, but basically it was like, I felt like he was trying to say like, hey, if you're a person worthy of respect, then when they get older, they'll stop disrespecting you and they'll respect you. Which, if you never teach somebody respect, how can they respect you? Respect is a cultural thing. There's different ways of showing respect in each and everybody's culture. I had an Asian friend that ran his family ran a restaurant. While smacking, slurping, a lot of those things that we were taught, hey, nah, those not aren't good. Table manners, that's disrespectful to the other diners. Nobody wants to hear you eat. Uh, in their culture, it was the opposite. That was a compliment to a cook. So if it was just like we were sitting down in the restaurant, kind of shooting the breeze on lunch or something like that, and I got something to eat, and it was just me and his family in there, like, yeah, I would smack just so they knew, like, yeah, food's busting. But that was something that was taught, and it's something relatively simple, but it was still something taught through an interaction. And the thing about us as parents is we're the gateway through which our children begin to conceptualize and experience the world. And I vehemently disagree with the it's okay for kids to disrespect elders in the manner that they're going about it. Um, Simply because I believe it's very hard to just one day pivot on a dime and change everything that you practice. Normally, that takes something fairly serious to change a person's character and demeanor. And you know, one of the things that they said was like, "Yo, we don't feel like you should ever tell a kid like, yo, it is this way because I said it is." You know, sometimes, real talk, you do certain things in your house because you do them, because you like them that way. And it is that. And that is perfectly okay. And that's not to be snide, snarky, or anything like that. Like there's some things that my kid, like, yo, I'm very organized. My kid asks, like, yo, daddy, why you do it? Because I do. And that's just really it. It's nothing deeper. It's because I do. Because your daddy's organized. Because your daddy is very aspires to be very clean, very neat, very orderly. I don't keep my house a certain way. And because of that, I don't allow him to keep his room a certain way. All of that being said, it's not like parents are just, especially those who believe in corporal punishment, are just it makes it sound like it's a childhood version of Mischief that's coming in and beating kids upside the head. And it's like, nah, it's not that. Like certain things do, in my estimation, and every parent is different. I'm not gonna tell a parent how to parent, but it is one of those things to where corporal punishment is something I've excuse me, I've had I can count on one hand the number of times I spanked my son. The last time I spanked him, he was 6. And a lot of times the threat is enough. I'm trying to get a desired behavior. I'm trying to convey a particular understanding. And sometimes some of the things they do is very egregious. Like, yo, you can't keep your hands to yourself. Like you're going around and you're injuring others. Like, yo, that's not cool. Yo, you talking back, you being really disrespectful to your elders, especially unwarranted. So it's not like somebody came off the top rope at you and say, "Hey, little man, how you doing? Hey, you got the stankus attitude?" Oh, nah, bro, they ain't flying in my house. You would have to whoop me before you can do that. And that's just that's the rules of my house. That's how I'm going to parent them, and that's how I'm going to give them the lens of the world. And you know, they talked about it not being one of those things where it's necessarily life threatening or something like that, but this is the thing of it, man. Like, you never know what your child may encounter when you're not there. And if you ain't prepared them for it, I hate to say it, but you may not see your child again. I've been in a situation a couple times where police, it was a very real possibility that force might be used against me. The one that really sticks out of my head the most is like, I got pulled over when I was 17. I was on my way to buy a PlayStation 3. They had just dropped. I had a job at a grocery store called Piggly Wiggly. I've been saving my money up. It was maybe 3, 4 months after it launched. And I'm going down there to get to Beaufort, which was probably about 30, 40 minutes from where I lived. And I get pulled over by the police. Dude comes up to the car with his gun, with his hand on his gun, and his gun like part way out the holster, like he's ready to draw. And I thank God for the talks that my dad and I had, because those talks, I really truly believe if we hadn't had some of those talks, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be talking to you today, because I think I probably wouldn't have been in the right mind state. I would have reacted in a volatile manner, and I wouldn't be here. But because I had respect and knowledge and had been prepared for the situation, I was able to navigate through that scenario. Like, dude came to the car. He I had my hold on a second. I had my documents, and I pulled the old insurance card. Oh, hold on one second. But yeah, just to make a long story short, because I'm gonna have to go in a little bit. I might make a part two to this. Ain't no part two. Dude came up. I had recently got the new insurance card, but in my car wallet was vehicle registration and the prior insurance card, which is what I handed him along with my license, because I had my documents sitting right there in my lap, hands on 10 and 2, just like my dad had spoken to me about so many times. Dude looks at my stuff. He promptly tells me, like, yo, this insurance card expired like 3 days ago. I told him, like, hey, everything's still the same. Did recently get a new car. And he's like, yo, if you don't give me the new car, I'm gonna hit you with for driving uninsured. I'm like, I'm not uninsured. Everything's still the same. I do have the new car. It is somewhere in the glove box. I just have to search for it. That's why I'm like, yo, I'm on my way to work, checked it in there. The dude says, yo, get your insurance. I reached over just like that. Dude unholstered his gun completely at that point. Said, yo, what are you doing? What are you reaching for? And we do this back and forth exchange a couple times where he keeps talking about like a weapon and whatnot. And I'm sitting there, I'm losing my freaking shit. Because I don't know if I'm about to get popped or not. And at the end of the thing, at the end of the whole thing, while it might sound extreme, while it might sound a little bit hyperbolic, I do think it's very important to teach your children respect, not only for elders, but also for authority. Because at the very least, me and my father had already had this conversation so many times. We had it so many times, I rolled my eyes because it was like dang near every time I went down there. I love my dad. It's like, yo, somehow we get on this subject. We could be talking about Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Yeah, let me tell you about what to do when such happened. But it saved my life. That respect, that manners, it saved my life. Like, I really truly believe it. If I had popped off, if I had went back, I probably would have been one of those long, when naming that long list that we know all too well. I'm gonna do the Yalo, Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, Trayvon, so on and so forth. So, and I said, especially when you are a black child, black male child at that, like, understand that white supremacy targets us differently. I am implicitly seen as a threat by most, simply by nature of my blackness and me being a man. So while it's not right, I have to be aware of how I'm perceived. And part of me de-escalating the situation or keeping a situation from escalating is how I communicate. Part of that is showing proper respect and deference. And while I'm speaking purely in terms of police, that translates to other arenas as well. Like, yo, if you don't teach your kid respect, and let's say they pop off to the wrong person at school, you will never, they could get expelled. They could get disciplinary action. They could, certain things, they could lose out on opportunities. And that's encouragement of volatile behavior, in my opinion. Like the whole, it's, you should encourage kids to disrespect you. Like, nah, you're encouraging volatile and unstable behavior. And at the end of the day, you can't just flip a switch. Like I hate to say it, but I see it. I see it a lot with certain how people rear some of their kids. Like, yo, the kids that can't keep their hands to themselves, and they couldn't keep their hands to themselves as a baby, and they thought it was cute, and now you know they got a little bit older. They 5 and they 6. They still doing the same things. It's like, oh, you can't do such, and you don't never really give any pushback. And now they an adult, and now they putting their hands on people as an adult. it, it now you want to say something to them. It's too late. It's too late. The whole, and this gonna sound a little bit contrarian, but I'm not a person for respectability politics. However, I do believe we should all show each other a particular modicum of respect in our daily interpersonal interaction. And a big part of that is taught. A big part of that begins at home. I ain't saying that each and everything falls on a parent, because sometimes you got some kids that just, they ain't gonna do whatever. But for the majority, for the 90%, like, yo, I think that's a bad philosophy. And should the brothers at waving the red flag happen to see this, like, I've seen a lot of guys' videos. There's no disrespect. I I really don't agree. I do not agree with that point at all. And it's one of those things where this is just me going off top of the dome while I got a little bit of a work situation developing. But it goes deeper than that. Like, we need to be teaching our children how to properly interact with the larger world around us, how to properly contextualize things, how to properly gain that understanding, how to question when they do have questions, how to navigate so that when they bump into authority, they do not weaponize authority against themselves and get met with the response, whether it be an authority figure in the family or whether it be the larger social institutions. The last thing you want is for your kids to get caught up or lose an opportunity or get just hemmed up in some type of way because they acting stupid. And that's my 2 cents on it. Peace. Hope y'all have a great one. I'm out.